Hi there, this is Clara at Younium. So in this video, my colleague Walter will walk you through how to create orders or subscription here in Younium. I hope you will enjoy this video. Bye-bye.
So we are going to create a subscription. We're going to create a subscription here in the create order fields. So typically a subscription in Younium is not really created from Younium. We try to, of course, use our CRM data like a HubSpot or a Salesforce, for instance, to kind of take all the information sales collected over time during the sales cycle, during contract negotiations, quotes, and what have you, and turn that data into what we call a draft order. And that draft subscription will then enter typically in a workflow, a finance department or a sales ops department, somebody that has, administration skills. And I can say I'm sales. I don't have it. I don't have administration skills. So it's good that there's a second check. So then when the order gets created, like, okay, do we not promise a payment term of 300 days instead of 30, right? So typically this is not even done in Younium, the creating of subscriptions, because we try to automate that based on the CRM data we get already. But to show you how flexible subscription is, we're going to create a subscription now. So starting off, you have an account, and that can be, a certain customer. An account is a customer, and you have an invoice account. And when is this used? For instance, you sign a deal with Coca-Cola in Amsterdam, but the head office is somewhere in San Diego. I don't know where the head office of Coca-Cola is, but the invoice needs to go to the head office, and the customer is the one in Amsterdam, right? So that's why you have a nuance between these two. Also, if you sign 100 companies like Coca-Cola, maybe they want a consolidated invoice for all their Coca-Cola branches on the invoice account. So you can also try consolidate that. Or if they said, no, I want 100 different invoices, you set this button invoice separate, then the invoice accounts get all the invoices on the same time separate for each subsidiary. This is also used in reseller structures. So when you're working with resellers, you can have a account that is, maybe if you have typically two structures, right? Either the reseller gets a kickback or the reseller invoices the end customer. So if the reseller invoices the end customer, the reseller is the invoice account, because they just get an invoice, they pay the invoice, and they invoice the end customer with a certain markup on it. And otherwise, you have the using customers, the invoice account. So you invoice the end customer, but the reseller is the using account. So you can also, track how much revenue did they do for you, and then charges or give them a certain kickback based on, X number of revenue they had, even in tiers. So that's where this is used for. Order types, you have subscription or you have a sales order. So if you just want to send an invoice for 10 training hours, for instance, you can also do that with Younium. The currency the customer is operating in, it jumps basically to the setting that is set in the customer name. But if so, it's already applied on the customer level. What is the invoice setting? But you can still change it here if needed for whatever reason. The subscription is a term, meaning does it have a start and end date, or does it go on forever? We just have a start date. Typically, we see, it starts on the 1st of May, for instance. And so we started on the beginning of a month. It's going to last for 12 months. After that, it's going to be renewed with 12 months. And do we want Younium to be automatically renewing this customer? Yes or no? And what is the notice period? So when do they have to call us to cancel this? What Younium does is after this period is expired, then it will automatically generate the invoice for the term coming after this one. Then there's some extra fields you can use, like, okay, I want to have them receive a specific invoice template for this customer. So if you want to invoice directly from Younium, you can, assign a certain template. How does it look? Or they want to pay with credit card or direct debit. Things like that, and you have a lot of custom fields you can set up. So, for instance, if you're flexible in your indexation, which we see sometimes, some people do it according to a CPI index, so they just go with whatever a local government maybe says. But some also agree with a certain customer, like, okay, you never get an index above 5%. So you can also set here, like, okay, if we do indexation, this customer doesn't get more than 5, or even they're excluded from the indexation. How do the customer pay? But I already said that. And if you do some sort of, sales responsible, so you want to have a customer success owner or a sales owner, and you want to calculate some sales commissions based on this, or as customer success commissions based on this, you can also use those for that. Then you have your product portfolio, which you set up under products here. And what we try to make is product hierarchies. So we don't want you to have 200 products in your price list. We try to make, a certain way of, I will show you, that's easier. So you have a product called subscription of service. That is your base product, but you see this a lot, right? You have a starter bundle, a professional bundle, an enterprise bundle, or some sort of bundle structure on SaaS company websites. So if you select one of these, you see that you find this bundle here, and this product is configured to have like a base fee. So this customer pays a base fee, and then it's one license. So this is like a SaaS license of subscription, and that SaaS license is 500 euros per month. So this is the price period, not the billing period. So this is a monthly price. So this is 500 euros per month. That is what they pay for the license. But also they have, for instance, users. So you pay also in addition for a number of users. But you see here the first 10 users in the tier, so this is a tiered product, are 0 flat. So you don't pay for the first 10 users because we configure this to be like those are included in the pricing of the product. But if you go above the 10 users, then you start paying 5 euros per unit up until 20 users, and 50 up to 50 per 4 euros, etc. Now, if this customer negotiated completely different tiers, on each customer level, you can completely redefine the tier. So let's say now we have negotiated this with the customer. So now for this specific customer, the tiering is completely different, but we didn't need to create a full new product in the product section. You can just configure that and it still stays the same. So that's super efficient. Of course, you can put your discounts here if you want to do that based on the agreements as well, and the number of users they actually have. So let's do 35. Why not? Here you also have the start on and end on. So, this subscription starts on the 1st of May, but we already said in the insights part of this video that if the customer doesn't want to pay right away, you negotiate something, you can either set the charge of the product to a specific date. So let's say you say, okay, no, they start paying for the users on the 1st of June. So that's 1 month later. So we give them 1 month free of charge because that's typically how long the onboarding takes. Or we set it to a milestone. And the milestone is, for instance, when you can have multiple milestones. Here you can see examples like, okay, when the implementation started, we invoice 50%. And when the implementation is finished, we invoice the other 50% of the subscription or the setup fees. You typically see those things in SaaS. So you probably know what I'm talking about. Also, let's say this customer ordered an implementation fee, and you see here the implementation fee is a one-off fee of, 50,000 euros. That's a juicy amount of one-off fees. And we invoice that right away from the beginning, or like I said, you link it to the milestones. So if I'm done with this, I'm super happy with my order. I can also click here if I want to negotiate a discount. The discount works the same. So we start the discount when the order starts, and we end it when the order ends. And when the order ends means also if it's renewed, it didn't end, right? So this is a lifetime discount. If you want the discount to only last for 3 months or 1 year in this case, you can set it to 1 year discount for 50%. So they get a 50% first year. Also, does it apply to all charges? No, we only want it on the users, or they only get the implementation fee. So that's how you can set up discounts as well, in addition to, of course, the line by line type of discount. But this is the faster way. If we are happy, I can activate the subscription. And if I now have an active subscription, I can also invoice the subscription. So typically what we see our customers do is once you created a new deal, you also invoice the customer right away, right? So normally you don't go and invoice every subscription manually, but on a new deal basis, we like a lot of cash, so we just invoice the new customer. So let's do that. The target date is where you tell Younium, you need to look at this specific date to see if there's anything we can invoice for this customer. So that is, in this case, the 1st of May. So we can invoice something on the 1st of May. If I would put this to the 1st of April, Younium says there's nothing to invoice for this customer. So now it is the 1st of May, and then I can. And then, of course, the invoice date is ultimately the date that's going to appear on the invoice. Because if I invoice them now on the 14th of April, they may have problems with my payment date. Because, I'm starting in May. Why would I already pay my invoice middle of May? That's not fair for the 30 days. So that you can put the invoice date there. Then create the invoice. You can preview it. So, you will have your own logo, layouts, fonts, what have you here, if you would invoice directly from Younium. You can also choose to invoice from your existing finance system. So, for instance, like a PE accounting in Sweden, a Fort Knox, or Exact in the Netherlands, all kinds of finance systems all over the world, NetSuite, Microsoft BC. You can check our website for the connectors page to see what all the finance systems we have there. It's a lot. So in the case where you invoice from a finance system, pretty much all the data that is on this invoice is sent to the finance system, and then the finance system ultimately owns the template and sends it to the customer, which also then means the payments that are coming in from that invoice will come into the finance system, and there you do the cross-referencing of the payments versus the invoice pretty much. But if you choose to invoice from Younium, this is where you set up your template. Each customer can have their own language template or their own logo template. It depends on how cool you want to be, right? But this is what we agreed in the subscription, so it looks good. I can just post this now, and then it's sent to the customer. So as you have probably experienced in your SaaS business, is that it doesn't really is a perfect world. So typically they can call you. It started on the 1st of May, but they call you in August like, hey, we saw this add-on during onboarding. It's interesting to us. We want to have that. Okay, well that's great news. So we change the order. And we say, okay, let's pretend we're in the future, right? It's the 17th of August, like nice, annoying, middle of the month prorated calculation stuff. They call you and they say, I want to have this add-on you have released with the feature. We love it. So we add it to the order. Then again, same principle applies. You can give your discounts. You can do align to orders again. And in this case, the start align to order doesn't mean we invoice it from the 1st of May. That would be unfair because they didn't have access to this for 3.5 months. In this case, align to order means to the change of the subscription. So the 17th of August. If they say like we want to make use of this add-on from the 1st of September, for instance, then you can set this to a specific date, 1st of September. Same principle as with creating an order. I just leave it to the 17th of August because I want Younium to have a tough time calculating the proration. So if I now activate change, yes, a few things will happen. So now it's live. I again do the manual invoice. So I now have to do 8/17 because we need Younium to look at when can I invoice something, right? The rest was already invoiced for the full year. So now if I preview this, you see the service period for this feature is from the 17th of August to the 30th of April. It's one per piece. It's this amount. So you can grab your calculator at home and double check if Younium did good math here for these dates. So it's 200 euros a month for 12 months, but we have less days. So this should be the amount and the total price. I believe Younium, so I leave it here. Then I post it and now it's sent and the update has been made. The customer has been upsold. Now a few things happen as well. So if I go back to the order, you can see here there's a booking. That was the new deal that we originally created when we created the subscription on April 14th. And then there was a change, which I also did today on the April 14th, of the added 200 euros a month, which is super cool. And you can also see Younium keeps track of the versions here. So if a customer told me like, hey, the version 1 didn't have this product on it, I can always track back and see, okay, what did version 1 look like? Okay, there was no add-on yet at that time. We had it started on these and these dates. So you can always have a repository of 1,000 versions if you change a lot. Of course, this is a bit boring because it only has 2. So this is kind of the how you create and change a subscription plus the version tracking, which was the second portion of this.
Hey, it's me again. I know. Thanks for watching. In the next section here, we will go through how you can run billing and do batches in Younium. I hope you will enjoy this video. Bye-bye.